My name is Brandon Kyle Goodman, and you're about to watch another episode of Black Folks, where I have one-on-one conversations with Black people of various identities, and we talk about our life and how being Black has shaped our experiences. Today, I am so excited because I'm talking to Alex Newell, actor, singer, dancer, Broadway star, TV star, and we talk about growing up in white neighborhoods, dealing with white friends in the theater community. We talk about white teachers. We talk about being othered inside of the Black community. Honey, we go in. You can watch the conversation on my IGTV at Brandon K. Good, on Tom Ellis's IGTV at Official Tom Ellis, or on my YouTube, youtube.com/Brandon K. Good. Without any further ado, here is my conversation with Alex Newell. Hi, Alex.
Darling.
How are you?
I'm alive, blessed and highly flavored.
Highly flavored, yes, honey.
And seasoned.
I live. Okay, so as always, I'm going to have you start by just introducing yourself, and you can tell us whatever you want us to know in this moment.
Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. I am Alex Newell. I have lots of credits. I don't even know where I'm from anymore. They're always just like, what do you do? And I'm just like, oh no, I sing, I dance, I act. And they make me sing real high. So, but no, that's all they ask me for. They're like, here's a staff. If you can go above that, we'd be great. Everything we'd be happy, great. I literally was recording a song a day. And I was like, why does it keep going up? They're like, you got it, you got it. I said, don't tell me what I got. Don't explain my talent to me, please. Don't, you ain't gonna mansplain my talent to me. I done already put this conversation off the rails. Look at God.
Look at God, I live, but that is very true. Don't be explaining my talent to me. That's gonna be some merch. Okay, and then I always also like to say how I know my guests, which this is our first time meeting, although I have a story for you.
I'm scared.
And I don't... You came with the props. Okay. I wish I had my fan. Shit. All I got is this globe. Okay. That'll work. Spin it. So years ago, this has to be, I've been in LA for 5.5 years now. So this has to be like 6-7 years ago. I was at Therapy, the bar on 52nd Street. You know about Therapy across?
She just closed.
Did she?
She just closed down.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, but go on.
But anyways, so when she was open, we used to go there for the good music, and you were there with like 2 of your friends, and my best friend was like, you're Alex, and then we spent the whole rest of the night together. It was dark. You were singing, Whitney Houston came on, everybody was trying to sing, but Alex was actually, you know when the DJ cuts it out so everyone could be like, ah, everyone was like trying to hit those notes.
To hit the note.
Everyone was trying, but my love, Alex, was hitting it. It was lovely.
God, I miss blackout singing so much.
I know, right?
Oh, Father, I have to do it in my living room by myself, but then my building, they finicky. They like to give noise complaints at 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm having my best concerts.
Who is complaining about this? That's not noise. That's a blessing.
I think
you singing at 3?
He'd be also lucky. Some people pay for this.
You're getting that free concert right now, okay?
Oh, you downstairs.
Get it. That's front row. Okay, so now I'm gonna ask you the Black folks question of the day, and we'll just like have this cute little conversation. You feeling good? You ready? Okay.
Yeah.
So this question, I'm gonna ask it, but then I'm gonna kind of further explain it in case, you know, it needs to be. So the question is, when was the first time you were othered by your white or non-Black friends? And so what I mean by that is, because oftentimes we talk about being othered by, you know, people that we work with, coworkers, neighbors, but inside of friendships, do you remember the first time with a white or a non-Black friend that you felt othered?
I mean, I think my entire life I've always felt othered.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in a predominantly white neighborhood. I went to a predominantly white school. I chose musical theater as my life, long dream and goal.
Where did you grow up?
In Massachusetts.
Okay, East Coast.
Right. Very liberal, very white.
Yes.
But I've always felt othered, and no matter like how comfortable I was always with my friends, whether it be sleepovers or just going to the mall, I always felt like the odd one out, the only fly in buttermilk.
Yeah. Sis, why are you giving me all this merch? This
No, it's just the Southern in me because my mom and my daddy are from Alabama. And so when my father passed when I was 6, my mother would send me down to be with my grandmother, my father's mother, each and every
Okay.
summer. And my mother's father also lived in Alabama. So we would go on like road trips from Massachusetts down to Alabama through Georgia and family reunions, all that stuff.
Wow.
So anything that comes out of me, it is full Black and deeply
Yes.
rooted in the South.
Yes, I went to high school in Georgia, and not to take it all the way here already, but I will. So my experience with Alabama is that I went to school in Rome, Georgia, which is like on the border of Alabama. It's like Alabama's like a 20, maybe even a 15 drive away. And my best friend at the time, shout out, hey Lauren, was a white woman, a white woman, a white woman, and her family ended up buying a lake house in Alabama. So, but like, okay, so the first time we went to the mall, and I was with her and her brother and me, and it's like 2 white people and me, and we just felt the energy. Like when my white friends can feel the energy, then you know the energy is dangerous. And so like Lauren and her brother could feel the energy of us walking together. So then the next night or the next trip, we went to the movie theater in Rome, Georgia to see the Da Vinci Code, which was cute. And then it was cute. It was
It was a movie.
It was a movie. It was a movie. It was a movie.
It was a movie.
I was in the theater and
I don't know what happened, but it was a movie. Couldn't tell you the plot, but it was a movie.
It was a movie. There was running, there was yelling, there were conversations.
I didn't see said film.
Okay, I wish I could tell you what it was about, but it's a book, so
we digress. It's a painting. It's art.
It's a painting. It's art. It's about art. It's about art. So, anyways, we're driving back to Alabama, and it's late night, and we are on the back roads. Which, for people who don't know, the back roads and the front roads were the same. I mean, like one has lights, one doesn't. Exactly. So we're driving, and we're behind this like pickup truck, and we're driving, and Lauren has her brights on, and the truck in front of us starts to slow down, and then she's like, oh shit, it's probably because of my lights. And so she turns the brights off as the truck pulls into like a garage, a driveway. When she pulls, this was the fucking Da Vinci Code. She pulls into the driveway, and the light on her car shines so bright on the back window, we see 2 bumper stickers of Klansmen.
Couldn't be me.
And she turns to me. Now, y'all remember, Black man with next to a white woman, okay? She turns to me, and she says, is that the KKK? And I was like, I think so. So she steps on the gas and starts looking at, and they pull out, and now they're behind us, Alex.
That couldn't be me. You know what? It couldn't be me.
It could, right?
It couldn't be me.
But like, so like, and all of a sudden this like slow car is going very fast, and they're on our tail, and I'm trying to I got my phone, I'm like, trying to call Verizon. There are no bars.
I'm trying to call Verizon. Wrong person to call. My Black behind would have been in the trunk, just like, keep going.
Well, she was like, we can't call the cops because they work for the KKK. And I was like, this is the first time I've ever heard this. What is life? She's like, listen, I'm going to make this turn towards my house. If they make this turn, we're going to keep going until we run out of gas. She was a real one. That was a real one.
She's a real one. She's like, we're going to keep going.
We just keep going.
Until the wheels fall off.
Until it fall off. We're going to keep going. So we turned, and luckily they just kept going, and we got to her place. Obviously, I'm shook. And we finally like text her dad, and we get to the house. Her mom opens the door. We tell her everything, and her mom, sweetheart, love her mom, literally goes, "They were probably just trying to scare you." And I was like,
Would it work? Guess who's scared? Me.
I was
They were
like,
trying to? No, they were actively scaring me. Baby, let me tell you, it couldn't have been me. This is why I travel with a piece. I can't do this.
you can't, right? No, yes. But then I was like, you have a black, somebody's black, because she and my mom were close. So it's like, you have a black child staying with you who's just been chased by the KKK. You try to de-escalate the moment. You're like, they were just trying to
scare you. Well, heifer, they did.
They succeeded. They won. They did it.
Shit in a bull, honey.
They did it. So that's my Alabama experience, but I'm sure you have better ones.
Child, nothing close to that. I stay where the brown folks are.
Fair. Well, what were summers like in Alabama? Like, especially coming from Massachusetts to Alabama, what were the
culture shock?
Yeah.
Like complete culture shock. Thinking about being surrounded, even though I went to a black church in Massachusetts, being surrounded by white people throughout the week and then seeing colored people, black people, people of color on Sunday is just like, okay, those are my church friends. These are the friends that I spend all the weeks with. And then going to Alabama and all you see is people that look just like you and their family at that. It's just like, oh, so this is what we're trying to do here. But it was always a lovely experience. I mean, having to learn the culture of respect and what that means by saying, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, yes, no, sir. Not answering Alex, what, ma'am? Just like things like that, and understanding that what respect is in that sense that your parents brought you into this world and they could surely take you out.
Yes.
And realizing that it's not because I'm calling you yes, ma'am, or yes, sir. It's the sacrifice that you've made to have the right, for me to have the rights that I have now.
I've never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
Because I mean, going to school in Georgia, that was like from New York to Georgia, that was the big shift. Was like, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Granted, in my experience, I was doing it with a lot of white people, though I understood that it was a Southern thing. But now, talking about it in relationship to other Black folk, I don't know, that hits different in terms of like.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like I get it all the time. It's derivative of like a slave mentality, absolutely. But then after all of that is said and transpired, where does the respect lie for our ancestors that literally sacrificed so much for us?
Yeah.
I would never just say what anymore to someone when they called me an elder of mine.
Yeah. Who's the most influential elder? I mean, I'm sure there are many, but like.
There's so many. I mean, probably my grandmother. My father's mother, she is still alive. God rest her. Like, you doing that, sir?
Come on.
You doing that. But she's lost 2 kids, my father and my uncle. And to still be this steadfast beacon of hope and light and love, she is the matriarch of our family.
Yeah. What's one of the greatest lessons that she's taught you? I mean, I imagine you putting that perspective, which is that she's still living with 2 of her kids gone. I imagine she has a lot of wisdom.
That part is, she can still hold her head up, even though she shouldn't have to. I mean, my mother always says, if I were to ever go, they'd have to bury her too, because no parent should go through a loss of their own child.
Yeah. Because
that is the biggest heartbreak. But my grandmother is still out here in these streets, smiling and loving and being there. Baby, it's not even a 15-minute conversation with her on the phone. It lasts maybe 2-3 minutes. I say, hey, grandma. Hey, my baby. How you doing? I'm good, grandma. Oh, that's good. You well, right? You need anything? No, I'm good, Grandma. All right, well, it's nice talking to you, honey. I love you, my baby. Click.
That's all you need. I think there's something about, especially our elders. I don't know. Their energy transcends. They're on a
You're on a different
spiritual lane.
level.
Yeah.
It's just like watching all of these accolades for John Lewis
Mm,
and to like think all the sacrifice that was made for other people,
yeah.
not even just himself, but for other people, for the
Yes.
generation that's come after him. My mom always says, I can't wait till I'm old where I don't give up. I said, man, I said, you're damn near there. We're just throwing
You
the
could
words out all
have
willy-nilly.
you could have fooled me, ma'am.
Shocking. But no, it's like I have so much respect for that because my grandmother and her sisters and brothers, they've witnessed far too much that
Mm,
they don't have to give a damn about anything.
yes.
Like, I put in
Yes.
my work already. Now it's your turn. That's
Mm.
kind of how I am with like my white friends and racism. I said, I've done my work. If you want to change this and you want me to feel more comfortable, talk to yours. Get yours together before you get anything together.
You are giving the truth. That is the truth. Please get away from me. As Phaedra Park says, get away from me.
Apollo, get away with me with that mess. Go on now. Go.
Go away from me with this, Apollo. Yes, absolutely. Was your grandmother a singer?
Uh, I mean, I didn't know how musical this family was until like I was like hearing stories. Like my uncle played the saxophone
Mm.
and my father played the piano, which I was just like, wait, what? I was like, no one wanted to tell me that. A very musical family. No one sings like me though. I don't know where this throat came from,
Yes.
but it's a greatness skips generation. I said, you skipped a hell of a lot of generations. I
That
said,
lineage.
how dare you skip a lineage and then just drop into me?
But I think that's actually kind of beautiful. Do you feel, because art, especially as artists, singers, actors, dancers, those things I feel are religion in themselves. Like there's
Mhm.
something spiritual. And when you tap in, for people who aren't in the arts, what I'll describe for me, and you can describe for yourself, Alex, which is like when you're tapped in, it's not of you anymore.
No.
There's just this part of you that's like, I don't know. It's just I think it's connection to lineage.
It is. I mean, when you are in it, you are. I always got this when I was younger. Oh, Alex gonna be a pastor, gonna be a preacher, gonna be a preacher. I said, no, I'm not. I can tell you that much. I won't be. And then I was doing Once This Island, and we had his name is leaving me right now, but he came in to play our Tauntaun while Philip Boykin was out, and he's a preacher. And I told him that story, and he said, well, you are a minister. I said,
Mm.
who? Who was a minister? He said, you, that voice, that body, that vessel, that is ministry. You are bringing people in with your voice. You are teaching masses, making their spirits, you are shifting atmosphere in front of all of these people. Therefore, you are ministering. I said, well, shoot me down and call me a monkey's uncle. And that it is ministry. Your art is how you minister. Your art is teaching love. Your art is teaching acceptance. Your art is expression. Everything is made to be relatable to someone, even if that someone is just yourself.
Okay, so I see why people said that you were going to be a minister. Okay, you just gave us a whole sermon that I hope the people got, because I definitely got it. I'm ready to run and shout.
Yeah.
Hey, my God, absolutely. What else was I going to tell you? I was going to tell you, so I know I asked this original question about the first time being othered by white and non-Black people. Do you remember the first time? I mean, it sounds like you grew up just with so much love, but do you remember the first time being othered by Black people?
Child, yes. By my cousin.
Tell
by
me.
my cousin. I don't like that heifer to this day. Still. And yes, I called you a heifer, Ivory.
Not the whole name. You don't give no fucks. You said, listen.
Ivory, I don't, listen, I was sitting on, we were in Detroit because my mama's family lives in Detroit. I don't know how they got there I said Alabama, Detroit, whatever, cars. Excuse me. But I'm sitting on the couch and she was like, why you acting so bougie? I said, I'm minding my own damn business. She said, what kind of, I said, I go to Catholic school. Oh, you think you fancy and you got money because you go to Catholic school? I said, no, bitch, my mother sent me to the school. If you have a problem with me, go ask your auntie. Don't ask me. It's so strange being othered by your own. And we can break this down.
Come on, break it.
The entity of being othered in my sexuality and my identity, being like all of that othered. You think you're better than or you are less than. It's like, how can I just be? When is it okay to just be?
Oof.
Can someone tell me when it's okay to just be?
I'm gonna go take a nap. I'll come back when it's okay to just be.
To just be. Like, we're so caught up in this lively competition. I said, when did life become an everyday competition? I'm not out here trying to compete for nothing. I did a competition. I lost. It's calling a spade a spade. I'm not trying to compete for anything, Ivory. I'm not trying to compete with the fact that you live in
Ivory don't got that many syllables, honey. Ivory don't got that many syllables.
Listen, Ivory. That's not a competition, boo.
Yeah.
You live here, I live there.
Yeah.
And I'm reaping from what my mother gave me. So you can't blame me for that just because I'm learning Spanish. Ivory.
Ivory. That's also going on a t-shirt. That's other merch.
You'll put her name on a damn t-shirt and sell it.
Don't be an Ivory.
Don't be an Ivory.
You know, I think being othered by Black people, and you brought it up, like the identity, it's like the identity, the queerness, all that stuff that makes you othered inside of your own community.
Mm-hmm.
I find it to be so painful, even more so than with, you know, like I was going to tell you, like the first time a white person othered me, or that not the first time, but that I remember is being in theater in school and them trying to light, you know, and then when the lights would go out, I'm sure.
Baby, I said, what is that blue doing on this skin? You don't like me? Go on.
Make that a little subtle, please. No, but like when they would like get that off me, when they would you know, when it would go to blackout, or when, you know, in tech when they're fixing the lights and everything would go out, I'd be like, where's Brandon?
Smile.
Smile. Oh.
You're gonna see a smile. It's gonna be an angel welcoming you to hell. That you're gonna see a smile, all right, when I push your ass off this stage.
I can't. Yes.
I see your eyes.
Why did
I knock both your eyes?
I will knock both of your eyes out. I just never understood why it was so funny. I was like, what that, and they make that joke at every tech. At every tech.
It's year 5, Chris. Move on.
Christopher, how long I known you?
Oh, Jesus. The theater community, oh, God.
You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
Love to hate it.
Yes.
I do. I mean, it's the most welcoming one because we're all a bunch of freaks and geeks who are just like masturbatoring over musicals and music, and just that is life. Child, I look back on those years and I was just like, who was I? What dork, idiot. I was a mean girl in high school. You don't know nothing.
Were you an Ivory?
No, I was never an Ivory. Ooh,
You better get me together. You better gather me up.
never.
Never.
And Ivory. No,
I'm gonna name this episode.
I
I
didn't
was
use
never
Ivory
Ivory.
soap. I'm gonna use Ivory soap. Can't trust Ivory. Can't trust it. But no, it's just like, who was that? And and for me looking back, I only could idolize 4 or 5 musicals.
Mm.
I'm out here trying to scream like Patti LuPone and have technique like Barbara Streisand.
Mm-hmm.
And then I discovered Audrey and I said, oh, well, shoot me.
Oh, my
I
goodness.
said, I've been trying too hard.
Oh,
I've been trying too hard.
I like that.
It kind of, and for lack of a better word, fucked my mind up for a little bit because I only saw myself as ensemble member number 3.
Oof. That feels like life. I mean, that feels like...
the token character to come in and sing the 11 o'clock number.
Yeah.
Also, there's a song, I forgot the composer, The Big Black Lady Steals the Show, Stops the Show, or the show's not over to the Big Black Lady Stops the Show is the song.
Okay.
And I said, why did this white man write this song? I said, why? Why do we need it?
Do we need, sir?
Did we need it?
Do we need this?
But then if their mindset is, well, we just want to have you sing something. We want something for you.
Right. Make me the protagonist.
No. I have to be the antagonist or ensemble member number 3. Or colorblind. I hate the term colorblind.
Now tell
If
me
you're
why
colorblind, you don't see me.
Shit. Alex, I'm about to make a whole line of merch.
Colorblind, you could not see me. You don't see color. You don't see color. How you gonna see me? How you gonna see me? You see me?
You don't sit your ass down.
You see me?
Yeah, you know what's funny? Just to go back to what you were saying. So the colorblind thing and the being inside of the theater community, to me, is similar to being of color inside of the queer community, where yeah, okay, see those eyes? We all know. The Black people who are inside the queer community know what that look is.
Jesus.
Where
non-equity. This SAG Plan 3. This is a regional tour. This off-brand cruise ship. This dinner theater, honey. I can't. Oh, I can't.
Stop! Oh, wow, I'm dying. But they think that they have a pass because they are the liberal space. And so because they're the liberal space, they don't gather themselves up, or they don't gather their people up because they're like, well, no, like, I'm not, like, I just said, like, it was dark and smile. Like, that's not racist. Like, what are you talking about? And there's a disconnect that for whatever reason, people who haven't done the work to identify their position inside of a society that is run by white supremacy, they haven't done that work. And if they think because they sing, or they're in theater, or they are gay, or some queer identity, that they have a pass, that they are also oppressed, and so there's no world in which they can perpetuate racism. And it's like, Broadway is one of the wildest and whitest places on the planet.
Yes. Yes. You said that. Ditto. Is that what those white people say? Ditto. That little Patrick Swayze and Whoopi Goldberg movie.
Ghost?
Yes, don't say I love her. Say ditto. Okay, leave. Go towards the light, sir. No, but they think that they have a pass.
Yes.
And that pass is the most dangerous thing, because you saying, I did Rent and we did Seasons of Love together, and our soloist was Black, and she's probably my closest friend.
Why have I heard that? I'm so mad that I've heard those that exact sentence.
Well, we've done Hairspray, and the biggest cathartic moment in my career was linking hands with everybody and singing I Know Where I've Been with Bertha. Like, Bertha is the most amazing Black woman that I know. I said, first of all, why were you on stage during that number?
First of all, you
There were
don't
only
know the
3
show.
white people in that number. The hell, you group of 15.
That's like for y'all who know Hairspray, ain't no white people supposed to be on stage during that show other than Tracy.
Not a soul. And if they are put all Caucasians to the back immediately.
This is our song. I'm my brain is all over the place because I feel like I want to talk about tokenism and being the only Black person, and I'm just making a statement. If the question comes, it'll come, but I'm just kind of making a statement. And the statement is, I hate when white people parade their one Black friend at...
Hush, leave me alone. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. For me, it's always just like, why would you go out of your way to think that I know someone that you would know?
Yeah.
Just based off the color of my skin.
Yes.
It's not, you are in the same groups of people. You travel the same walk of life. You're in the same groups. I'm Black, so obviously you know another Black person.
Yes.
Because you're one here, so you must know that one who's the other one over there. It's just dangerous because it's like, do you know, if I pulled in a Becky, do you know Becky? You know her? Do you know Christina? Do you know Trish? Do you know Karen? Let me just group in all you white people and say that because y'all all look the same apparently now.
But it's like, what I find fascinating about that is that my brain just doesn't work like that. And I don't know, well, I do know, it's how we've been conditioned. People have been conditioned to see us as a one unified group that do the same things, like the same things, are the same things, and come in to support white people. As opposed to, for me, I have never mistaken a white person that didn't actually look like the other white person.
No, I don't do that. I don't. That's just also rude. It is just of poor taste. Did your mother and father not teach you starch nor decorum?
Starch nor decorum. That's listen. You about to leave here with a whole Ivory T-shirt line, honey.
Oh, God, that child. She gonna
Blue
call
Ivory.
Me. She gonna call me. I know. I can feel Ivory coming. She always loves to just insert herself into my Facebook messengers. What do they call it now? I don't even know what they call it now.
I don't know.
She always, hey, cuz, who is this? Same phone. Who this?
Same phone.
Same phone.
Same
Who
phone,
this?
but who this?
Oh, my Jesus. Oh, even Jesus. I'm still mad that we still say Jesus is white and we know he was Black or brown. I say Black Jesus, little baby Black Jesus.
I had a Black Jesus in my house. My grandmother had,
We only had Black things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Santa Claus is Black.
Okay. Listen, my husband and I last year went to Target, or 2 years ago went to Target. Target had the white Santa and the Black Santa. I said, we are absolutely getting that Black Santa. Like, what are we talking about?
Don't question me.
I don't need white Santa in my house. We can have Black Santa. No, but we had a Black Last Supper. But there is also what I think, which is kind of a diversion, is us as Black people also accepting things as white that are not. So the idea that there are plenty of Black churches that have a massive white Jesus on the...
Couldn't be my church. Couldn't be my church. You think pulling down Christopher Columbus in the park is bad? Wait. Couldn't be,
Woo!
My God, like me, he made me in his image.
You know.
The angel atop the tree was also black. That's how my mother was playing no games.
Damn, your mother really had it all the way through. She was like, no, we're
She
not playing
said
it.
black. BLACK.
Capital B. Capital B.
Capital B.
Wait, so like, dude, I'm fascinated by this because you grew up in a white neighborhood in Massachusetts. So do you think that was that just how she was, or was she also like, we're in this white neighborhood, I'm going to make sure that Alex knows
Yes.
that part?
Yes. I think that's half of it. Like, she used to collect those little ceramic things, art pieces.
Yes,
Those things.
he is
She
the
thousands,
little
thousands,
figurine of them.
little figurines, thousands of them.
She have a case for them, like a cabinet case? That's
When she said we throwed them out, I said I'll be the first one. These little black figurines looking at me while I'm sleeping. I said, get this thing away from me. They were all gorgeous. They all had their own unique story, but I think that is what it was, because my pre-K was a little theater, was its name, where you see all these little white kids in the fly in the buttermilk, just sitting there grinning. And then from there, I went to a Christian school, North Shore Christian School, where I was one of two other black kids in the entire roster of kids, the entire school. Then I went to public school. Ooh, dark times. Dark times.
Yeah.
It's very stark going from a school where everybody's white and then going to public school where everybody is mixed.
Yeah.
It's a mix of everyone, and kind of really having to assimilate to what that was, where I felt the tongue that I had developed, which, for lack of a better word, the white tongue or whatever that means, wasn't accepted at public school.
Yeah.
Why do you talk like that? Even when Ivory said it, I didn't understand it. And so when I get it at school, I'm like, do I talk any different than you all? And they're like, yeah, you do. And I was just like, well, I don't notice it. And they're just like, you're doing it again. And I'm just like, well, shit, what am I do? And kind of changing who I was, code switching in a whole different capacity. But my mother was like, Alex gonna know Alex is black.
Yeah. See, I felt like I grew up in a black neighborhood that as I got older, transitioned into a very Latinx neighborhood. Specifically Dominican is what it started to shift to, still black. And I want to clarify that for people. So like black, because I think we have to also, just a quick diversion, expand this word of black. Like Dominican people are black, Latinx people are black and identify as black. There's African American and there's Latin American, but black. So it was still a black neighborhood. But what I mean is my African American neighborhood started to shift to a Latinx community, but still black. But I was always going outside of my neighborhood to these white schools. So I was spending most of my time in white spaces and then coming back to my black neighborhood, and I didn't speak correctly for that neighborhood. And then having to like try and drop it low and try to talk like this or whatever, which was just 13-year-old me.
My whole larynx would burst.
Don't fuck up your throat. We need your throat. I'm glad you didn't do that.
I'd be like, no.
Don't do that. But I would definitely try and like assimilate and try and change the vocal tones. And my mother, like I said, there was black Jesus in the house. My family's Caribbean. They let me know that I was black. But I do think that and I wonder if this is true. It doesn't sound like it's true for you, but I wonder, they had a hard time competing with the fact that I was mostly in white spaces. So as much as they tried to instill blackness and black pride and all that inside of me, I didn't really absorb that until much later. Like I say, 20 years old is when because I was like, oh, I've been trying to chase white for so long, because regardless of what mom and grandma were saying, what I was witnessing was that white was safe and white was successful and white had money and white was
Yeah.
able to
White was the goal.
white was the goal. And it wasn't until 20 that I shifted that. But I wonder, like, did that happen for you, or were you always good?
No, I mean, I always thought that white was it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at a young age, which was, I shouldn't have never equated this. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna marry a white man. And to like look back and say that out, knowing that I was like telling people that.
Yeah.
Like just because that was end goal, it was better to marry a white man than to marry a black man.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was something in my mind that didn't show a connection. It's like I could sit stagnant with a black man, but I could thrive with a white man.
Fuck.
And like to know that at like 13, 14, 15, I was like, what is my mind? What was I thinking?
What were you thinking? I mean, but
now I'm just saying I'm going to marry a rich man.
You better specify a man with great credit.
I don't care if he's purple.
I do not care. In this instance, colorblind works for me.
It works for me because all I see is green.
That's all the only color I care about. But yeah, it is kind of, there is, you know, in therapy and in the last, I would say 13 years of me kind of having this awareness, it is really sad for me to think about being 14 and 15 and what my little baby brain was going through and thinking that and I did marry a white person, but I make it very clear that like, he knows I'm black. He had to come correct. He had to court it correct.
You gonna get this hair wrap tonight, sir.
Listen, you gonna see listen. You know, but at 14, 15, it was a very dysfunctional, it was a chase. Yeah. It was a chase for whiteness. And I just think about, on the surface, it's I'm chasing white, but underneath the surface, it's I don't like my black. I don't feel safe in my black. And you know, that's obviously a lot of self-hate. And what is that? It's a prison of the mind. It's a prison of the soul and the spirit that, you know, I think so many people are unconsciously boxed in and don't even know it. That's, I think, was really sad. At 15, I didn't know that was what was happening.
It's I forgot who told me this. It was to have the confidence of a straight white male. To have that instilled that you can be anything in this life that you want to, everything is reachable for you. It is okay to be you.
Yeah.
You can be basic if you want to be, I'll be there to catch you. You can thrive, I'll be there to catch you regardless. To like have that at a young age sets you up mentally so much better than being scared to walk outside. Well, you can't wear that today because we don't want people to perceive you as that.
Yes. I think that's what I remember one of my best friends from college, who I love and who is one of the most phenomenal people. She's a white woman. And I remember we met in college, and she has more money than I had. And I remember clocking that she has her own baggage, you know, as we all do, but she didn't have the I can't do that baggage. Mm-hmm. She didn't have the I can't be that baggage. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, what I started to realize was like, oh, there's so many, for lack of a better word, shackles to unchain here before you even start going after the goal, right? Yes. Before you even start trying to become the thing that you want to be, there's all this like mental shit that just comes with I'm a black person, and I'm a black queer person, even more so in this world that is built for me, where I'm being othered not just by white people, but as a queer people also by our people.
Yeah.
And having to build the self-worth before you can even actually go after achieving that thing that you want.
Oof, my Lord. Building self-worth is the hardest thing that I have ever done in my life. Because when I look back how I got over, when I look back over my life and I look at all that he's done for me,
Oh my God. Yes, my God.
I was always told, well, you're to this, you're to that, you're to this, you're to that, you're to this. And I'm just like, I'm not enough. And I've always been trying to, like, people are like, what would you tell your younger self? You're enough and you're worthy. Because I was never told that I was enough. Even my aunt, who was the choir director, would, if I wasn't singing the song to her liking, she would finish the song. And it's like, but, well, let me just go to the soprano section then, I guess. Or growing up queer and growing up bigger and growing up in a white neighborhood and not a Black neighborhood. And all of these things where I felt that I wasn't enough or worthy to be in anything. I wasn't worthy enough to be talented because my grades weren't good. I had a teacher look at me dead in my face saying, oh, your work ethic is terrible. You'll really not amount to much.
Whoa.
I make more than her now, so that's the silver lining there.
Karma is a silver lining.
Karma is a mean petty bitch, and she comes to collect her debt.
But what you're hitting on, it's like, for me, it's like as a child, because anything below 20 to me right now is still a child. As a
baby.
How old are you?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay, bitch. If you want to live the fantasy, honey. Live the fantasy. Ooh, karma. But to be a child being told you'll never amount to much. Was your teacher white?
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Of course.
Because if my teacher were Black, my mom was coming for that ass.
Amen. Amen. Your teacher said what? That's funny.
That is my child. You don't talk to my child that way. I talk to my child like that.
which my child will unpack in therapy.
I had to. My mother put me in therapy when I was 6.
Whoa.
Yes.
Nice.
She was just like, not today. She said, I worked too hard.
We're gonna unpack this.
She said, get it now. And I think having therapy that young and for that long really gave me a foundation to, like, yes, everything that was said to me affected me, but I could work through it.
Ooh, fuck. Now that is
I could work through it. And I knew that not always was it just me. Like, someone saying that to me at such a young age wasn't about me at all. It was this teacher's mindset of your work ethic is not good. And so how could you ever amount to anything if you're not willing to work for it?
Yeah.
And I said, okay, that's not for me because you only know that. You only know that education makes you successful. Which, it could, but you have to understand how to talk to an artist, especially a young artist. And any child at that, any person to say that you're only thinking about what you know and you're uneducated enough, you're not educated enough to know that there was a better way to say it.
And I think that that's what's dangerous in all of this. And I champion, and I know therapy is always like this white elitist thing. And I think therapy needs to be a requirement. It needs to be in every fucking school, public, private. It needs to be a requirement in our society because, as you say, it's like when you're a kid receiving that, if you don't know how to work through that and identify that has nothing to do with you, that's that teacher's trauma.
Yeah.
You grow with that, and that grows inside of you. And if you never figure out that the way that you're operating in your 20s and your 30s and your 50s and your 70s is based off of what that teacher said to you when you were 5, you ain't never gonna figure, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're gonna work through it. You're just gonna have that in your mind, in the back of your mind forever.
Yes.
Because then you're gonna want to prove that teacher wrong your entire life, but you're not gonna let it go.
And you don't already know that you're the prize. You're enough. You're
and
already.
You have to forgive yourself, and you have to forgive yourself for holding on to it at that.
Oh,
And that's
Yes.
what therapy taught me. You have to forgive you. My therapist looked at me, did you forgive yourself? I said, well, I didn't do anything wrong. She said, and that's the issue. I said, what?
You said, say that again. Sister, say that again and say it slower this time. What?
I said, well.
Well, I don't know why I'm cold all of
And now I'm dead. But no, I also agree with that. Therapy should be in school. How we have guidance counselors that don't provide no kind of guidance. My guidance counselor ain't do nothing for me. I said, what do I need you for? The computer is doing it. You call me in here to say, Alex, you were late. I have a watch.
I know.
But I really think that most guidance counselors should be therapists.
Yeah.
That also can navigate you on how to graduate and get into college.
Well, and can also be like, oh, Alex is an artist. There's a different set of learning and there's a different route of education that is needed here. Which I think, again, our system, we could, that's a whole nother podcast of whatever. But I'm going to ask you a final question, because we do have to wrap up, because I could talk to you forever. But before I ask you the final question, I wanted to hit on, I remember when I was in second grade at a parent-teacher conference, my teacher was white, and there's another Black kid in the class. And I remember my mother coming out of that and being like, really upset, because, which I didn't understand at the time, but I had such a negative report from that teacher, but a positive report from everybody else. But she was my homeroom teacher. And then my mother talked to the other Black kid's mom, and this is a private school, who said that her son also, who was brilliant, had a negative report. And I couldn't process it at 7, 8 years old, but this idea that this white teacher was singling her Black students out. And then I had built in me that this report card was that I wasn't good enough. I wasn't worthy. I wasn't doing the work. I was blah, 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 blah. And my mother trying to, obviously, being in that tricky space, which is like, one, you are worthy, I love you, blah, 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 blah. But also, she's not in the classroom, and teachers have all the power in your mind and your heart. And so you're just like, fuck, how do you prevent a 7-year-old from digesting that the teacher that he loves just told his mom, he's not it. He's not, you're not gonna amount to anything, or whatever that is. It's like such a, anyways, talking about teachers and white teachers with Black students is a whole thing. But my last question for you is, as in, when you are an elder,
it's a far, far journey away.
I know, because you're
19.
below.
19.
Yeah, elder is very 19. 19. When you are an elder, many, 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 many years from now, amen. What do you hope your family, your lineage will say about you, or say that you've done for them? And I mean emotionally. I mean emotionally, not
financially.
No.
No, it goes back to just being. To where it is worthy. You can be steadfast in your own truth, light, and life. The aura that you give out to the world of just being okay with, from the head to the toes, and the heart and the mind and the body and the soul, like to just be and know that that is and holds so much power and worth. Like, that's what I want to give. I don't want to be defined by the notes and the career and the songs. I want people to remember that I was unabashedly, wholeheartedly myself.
Hey.
And I want everybody to live in that, because I think that we live in such a society where we're always trying to fit in.
Yeah.
It's a big butt. Oh, well, now every girl is doing squats everywhere, so they have a bigger butt, because if you have a bigger butt, you're deemed beautiful. In the 90s, it was bleaching your skin just to be lighter, because it wasn't okay to be dark skinned. You wanted to be fairer skinned. You wanted to be Halle Berry. You didn't want to be Viola then.
Yeah.
We're all throughout all of this time that we're doing and going through, it's become now just accepting yourselves more and more and more, accepting each other more and more now, which we're going in the right direction. We just have so many bumps along the road that it's just like, why is it taking us so long to just exist again and be humans? Because we were there once. I believe that we were there one time ago. It might have been 2 millennia ago. It might have been way, way, way back when, but we were there where we were just one. And then it takes one to think, well, I'm better than. And then the other is like, well, I'm better than. And then we created this better than, worse than scenario. And then it was, well, I have 3 sheets and you only have 1, so I'm going to take your 1 so I have more.
Yeah.
And then it became, well, I have 5 sheep, so I'm better than your 4 sheeps. And that just turned into what money is, and then classism, and then it just was just a snowball avalanche that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But I really want people to be accepting of others, even if you don't understand them.
Yes.
And if you don't get them.
Yes.
You don't have to get anyone. You can give them respect, be indifferent to them. The opposite of not like is indifference, not hate.
And
You
love
actively
can
choose to hate
exist in
something.
that.
Yes, you actively choose to hate something.
Yes.
And you don't have to. Just because it's different. Baby, I used to hate math because I wasn't good at it and I didn't understand it. Wasn't good at it, couldn't do it. I said, I can count to 8, but I start at 5, 6, 7, 8. But I actively chose to hate something rather than getting to understand it and learn it and accept that I'm bad at it, but I'm going to be better at it. It's the same thing that we could go through in this life. You don't have to be a racist. You don't have to actively hate something. Get to know someone before you just like, well, I'm just going to base you off of your skin and not the content of your character. Because I'm conditioned to hate you.
That's a word. Hate is a choice.
It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Just like painting your red bottoms red again. That's a choice.
I want to come to your church, by the way. The church that I know that you're going to have, I'm going to come. I know you won't be there every Sunday because...
No, I won't.
Well, I know you won't be there every Sunday.
I bet you I won't.
But when I get that text alert that Alex is preaching this Sunday.
Just walk in. Just walked in to the
surprise.
I'm here, Saints.
Yeah. I live.
I'm in KA. Come on.
Come on, hit it. Okay. But before I let you go, I just want to say that I think you have inspired me from afar to just be, and watching you walk in your truth and in your excellence from the time we discovered you, not we, but I found Glee, and there you were, belting out them notes, and being unapologetically yourself. Your willingness to work through it all, your willingness to stand up through it all and to hold yourself up is so inspiring and gives those of us watching the fuel and the desire and the hunger to also just be. And so before you leave, I want you to have that, and I thank you for the beautiful human being that you are. And this has been a delight.
Lovely. Gotta do it again,
We
honey.
gotta do it again.
Lovely.
We're gonna do it
We
after the pandemic. No cameras, a lot of wine. I'm coming to New York.
Come on, there's a whole 3 cases just sitting in the corner.
All right, I'm ready.
Nothing between me, my God, and my wine.
Let the church say amen.